Okay, good morning, students. Yesterday, we have started the chapter that is diversity of organ systems in invertebrates. So, we have dealt with the circulatory system, excretory system. Today, we are going to talk on the nervous system. So, I think we have just started the nervous system yesterday. Now, once again, we will start from the starting about the nervous system. So, you all know actually now the invertebrates, yeah, you have different types of phyla are there which come under the invertebrates. Now, which consists of a number of organisms, and these organisms actually bear a diversity in their organ systems. So, from the smallest phyla, you can say, or from the first phyla to the last phyla, there is a lot of variations. Okay, with reference to the organ systems in the circulatory system, excretory system, as well as the nervous system. Now, uh, today we are going to deal about the nervous system now. So the simplest nervous system actually that you find is actually called as a nerve net. Now, before we start that, you all know invertebrate nervous system have varied degree of centralization, centralization, as well as specialization. Now, when you talk about the protozoa as well as about protozoa in general, they are very single-celled organisms, and as such, you know, and there the digestion, excretion, as well as recirculation, it takes place through the general body surface by the process of diffusion. But the cnidarians actually they have the they are multicellular animals, so they have what I mean, the different systems actually have been evolved in case of the cnidarians, that is starting from the coelenterata. So as you go up higher up to the higher phyla, then a complex organ systems you are finding it. Now coming to the nervous system, the coelenterate, that is the cnidarians, they have a simple nerve net. They have got a very simple nerve net. Nerve net is it is nothing but a what do you say, network of different types of the nerve cells. So they form a just a simple nerve net. So it's only just like a cushion like, or you can say just like a network. Okay. Now, when you talk about the flatworms, now flatworms nervous system are more centralized, and they say that actually they have small ganglia in their heads. So here, the presence of ganglia, you find it in case of the flatworms. Now, flatworms example, you can take fasciola like that. So in these flatworms, you have small ganglia which is present in the head region. Now, next is what arthropods. Now, the arthropods as well as the cephalopod mollusks, that is arthropod as well as the mollusca, they have got a centralized brain and specialized sense organs are present. So from arthropods and the arthropods onwards, now you find a centralized brain. Okay, the development of brain, you find it in arthropods. But before that, you don't find any brain. Because see, in the flatworm, they're saying that you have only small ganglia, which is present in the head region. But in the arthropods as well as in the mollusks, you have got a brain is present, and along with it, you have specialized sense organs. Now we'll see one by one how actually this nervous system has been evolved in different organisms belonging to the invertebrates. Now the simplest nervous system is found in the cnidarians. Cnidarians is nothing but the coelentrates. They are called as the nerve net. So what do you mean a nerve net? Nerve net is nothing but individual nerve cells. They form a network arrangement, okay, throughout the animal's body. So this is called as a nerve net, means a number of nerve cells you find, and these nerve cells all put together, they form a cushion-like or a nerve net-like arrangement, or they are arranged, you can say, in a net-like structure. So that is why it is called as a nerve net. So the individual cells, okay, form a net-like arrangement throughout the animal body. This you find it in case of the cnidarians, that is in the coelentrates. Now, when you talk about the flatworms as well as the roundworms, that is platyhelminthes as well as the nemathelminthes, here the nerve cells are more concentrated or they are centralized. So that means they have small clumps of the nervous tissue or the ganglia present in the head. So here also you have number of nerve cells are there, but these nerve cells, what do? They form a group or small clumps, which we call it as nothing but the nervous tissue or the nerve tissue. And this nerve tissue is called as nothing but the ganglia, which is located in the head region. See, in case of the coelentrates, you find the nerve cells, no doubt, but these nerve cells, they are not actually clumped together. They arrange themselves in the form of a net-like. So that is why we call them it as a nerve net. But here the nerve cells actually are more concentrated, centralized, means all the nerve cells actually, they form small clumps of the nervous tissue. That clumps, you call it as nothing but the ganglia, which is located in the head region. This is with reference to the flatworms as well as the roundworms, that is this as well as the nematoliths. Now coming to the mollusk and the arthropods. Now here the ganglia are organized into a brain that controls and coordinates the nervous system. So here the ganglia actually are present in a brain. So in the mollusk as well as in the arthropods as well as the mollusk, you find a fully developed brain. Okay. So here the development of brain originated, or you can say the brain originated from the mollusk as well as from the arthropods as well as the mollusk. So the ganglia are present in the brain. Now the concentration of the nerve tissue and the organs in one end of the body you call it as nothing but cephalization. Okay. Now what do you mean cephalization? Centralization means they are concentrated at one region present. Cephalization means what? The nervous tissue and organs. So the concentration of the nervous tissue and the organs in one end of the body you call it as nothing but cephalization. So from the mollusk, arthropods as well as the mollusk, you have a centralized as well as the cephalized nervous system is present. That is what they mean. Okay. Next is okay. Now the more complex an animal's nervous system is, the more developed the sense organs will be. So for example, now flatworms we have seen. Now the flatworms have got the simple eye spots are present. Okay. So that detect only the presence of light. Now this is the regarding this. Now we will go to first. Yeah. Regarding the sense organs only. Okay. Now coming to, so nervous system, you all know actually is associated what? It is associated with the sense organs. It is associated with sense organs. Now till now we have seen the organization of the nervous system in different animals that belong to the invertebrates. Now first we have seen regarding the here, see. Regarding the cnidarians, they have a simple network. When you talk about flatworms, the flatworms actually have what? Here the nervous system is centralized and they have small ganglia which is present in the head. And arthropods as well as the mollusk, they have centralized brain as well as specialized sense organs are being present. Now, the simplest nervous system which is found in cnidarians, that is coelenterate, are called network, nerve nets. Then flatworms and roundworms, actually, they form a small clump of nervous tissue which we call it as a ganglia. And in mollusk and the arthropods, the ganglia are actually present in the brain that will control and coordinate the whole nervous system. Now, this nervous system actually is associated with the sensory organs. So what are the different types of sensory organs that you find in the different invertebrate phyla we will see? Okay. Now here, the more complex an animal's nervous system is, definitely then they'll have sense organs also much developed. So the flatworms, for example, have got what? Simple eye spots. They have got a simple eye spot, which means eyes are present in the form of spots. So simple eye spots are present and they detect only the light. They detect only the light. And more complex animals such as insects, when you come to arthropods, they have eyes for the detection. They not only detect the the light, but also they detect the motion as well as the color and forms the images. So that is the complexity, you can say, of the nervous system with reference to the insects, that is arthropods. Then next is what? The more complex animals. So that means after insect arthropods, you have mollusks as well as the echinoderms are there. They have still well-developed or specialized sense organs that detect not only the light, but they also detect sound, chemicals, movement, and also the electricity. Okay, to help them not only to defend themselves from the enemies, but also to detect what is happening around their surroundings. So that is what do you say, the molluscans as well as the echinoderms as well as the molluscans have. So this is about the general view of the the sensory organs that are associated with the nervous system. Now we'll see one by one of protozoa. Now if you take protozoa, for example, they lack specialized nervous system, we have already seen. So it is very difficult for them to respond to the environment. So the single cell only will try to function both the receptor as well as the effector cell. So it contains only an eye spot that acts as a light sensitive receptor. It's very, very minute. First of all, the protozoans are very, very minute, but still in that also they have a very little small eye spot that will act as a light sensitive receptor. So that is how actually they perform their function. So they don't have specialized, they lack the specialized nervous system. Next is what? Porifera. Now when you talk about the porifera, here poriferans or the sponges, they are the multicellular animals. Even they don't have any specialized nervous system. They do not show any neurons or the sensory cells. But although they lack the nervous system, they are sensitive to pressure and touch. that help them in the locomotion. So if you touch, for example, if you take the poriferans and then try to perform any experiment, and if you try to touch it, what will happen? Okay, and if you apply pressure, say for example, then they will immediately respond, and then they will immediately move away from it. So that is what the poriferans do. So they lack a nervous system like the protozoans, but they are very, very sensitive to pressure as well as the touch, which helps them in their movement. The next is, see here. Now, if you see the nidaria, okay, that is the coelenterate. They contain a diffuse nerve net. So these are the nerve cells, they call nerve net. And here sensory neurons, intermediate neurons, and motor neurons are present. Okay, very small, very minute, and they are connected together by means of the synapses. And these synapses only carry the impulses to both the directions within the nerve net. Then coming, this is the nerve net. How? Okay, see animals. Now next is what here? See diffuse mesh of nerve cells that take part in the simple reflex pathways. So the nerve cells here interact with the sensory as well as the contractile cells. So here, this is how they have given. This is the diagrammatic representation diagram. Nerve cells of the nerve net. Okay, this is the epithelial cells. These are the sensory cells and the part of the sheet of the contractile extensions of the epithelial cell. So this is with reference to the nidarians. That is platyhelminths. Okay. Now next is what we'll see, platyhelminths. Now the platyhelminths are the flatworms. Now you all know platyhelminths have the bilateral symmetry, and also they have cephalization. Cephalization is nothing but body divided into different regions, like, okay. So they have bilateral symmetry and cephalization. So both these characters actually have led to the evolution of the nervous system in these particular animals, that is platyhelminths. So buccal symmetry, bilateral symmetry as well as cephalization have led to the nervous system. But they show a very, very primitive nervous system, that is primitive arrangement of nervous system. Central nervous system is there. And this nervous system actually, it resembles a ladder-like structure. So it resembles only a ladder. See here in the picture they have given. So the nervous system resembles a ladder. And this ladder, that is the nervous system, consists of two long nerves that are connected to the cerebral ganglia, which is present in the head region. And apart from these, short, small nerves are also connected to the nerve cord. And this nerve cord runs throughout the body. And apart from these, the auricles are also found at the sides of the head. And these contain the respiratory sensory receptors. And eye spots are also present. So this is about the platyhelminths. Hello, students. Are you listening? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So here in this platyhelminths, you have got the nervous system is developed, no doubt, but it is of primitive type. And it resembles just a ladder. And here in this ladder, that is the nervous system consists of two long nerves, which are connected to the cerebral ganglia located in the head region. And apart from these, the short, small nerves are also connected to the nerve cord, which runs throughout the body. And auricles are also present. They are situated at the sides of the head, which contain the sensory receptors. Apart from these, eye spots are also present. So this is about the, see here, this is the cerebral ganglia. Okay, this is the head region. You have the longitudinal nerve cords are present. This is a transverse commission and peripheral nerve plexus. So like this is actually their example when in planaria, that is Rugacia, okay, which comes under the platyhelminths. The next you have nematoda, that is nemathelminthes, which are roundworms. Now in these roundworms, actually again, here also the nervous system is developed, much developed when compared to that of platyhelminths. Now here they say that actually nematodes, you all know actually examples in this is at the anterior end, you have cerebral ganglia is present, which is composed of dense circular ring surrounding the pharynx. So here the nervous system actually, there we have seen only in the form of a ganglia nervous system, and it is in the form of a ladder, and you have a nerve ring which is located, which you have a cerebral ganglia which is located in the head region in case of platyhelminths. But in case of nemathelminthes, you have a cerebral ganglia which consists of dense circular nerve ring surrounding the pharynx. So we can say that the nemathelminthes consists of a nerve ring, circular nerve ring present surrounding the pharyngeal region. So this is present in the anterior region. So arising from the nerve ring, you have four nerves. Four nerves are present which run throughout the body. One is called as a dorsal nerve, another one ventral nerve, and you have two lateral nerves. And each nerve is located within a cord of connective tissue. Cord of connective tissue lying beneath the cuticle and between the muscle cells. And the dorsal nerve trunk is motor. The lateral trunks are sensory, and the ventral nerve functions both as the sensory as well as a motor. So this is with reference to the nemathelminthes, that is the roundworms. So in platyhelminthes, what we have seen in platyhelminthes, only the presence of cerebral ganglia, because it is a primitive type. They say that actually they have a ganglia, cerebral ganglia, which is located in the head region, and it actually is a primitive type, and it occurs in the form of a ladder. And but here in case of nematoda, and their two nerves actually arise from that cerebral ganglia, which runs throughout the length of the body. But in case of nemathelminthes, the nervous system actually is in the form of a sulcular nerve ring, and it is actually formed by what? The anterior cerebral ganglia, which is present in the head region. So this anterior cerebral ganglia, which is present in the head region, it consists of what? A dense circular ring which surrounds the pharynx. And from this nerve ring, 4 nerves arise, which runs throughout the body. They are called as, one is the dorsal nerve, then you have the ventral nerve, and the other one are the 2 lateral nerves. And each nerve actually is located within a cord of connective tissue lying beneath the cuticle and between the muscle cells. Now, the dorsal nerve trunk actually is the motor. Lateral trunks are sensory, whereas the ventral nerve actually it will function as both. Okay, so this is about the nematoda, that is nemathelminthes. Now see here. This is the cerebral ganglia. The longitudinal nerve cords are there, transverse nerve. These are the peripheral nerves. So it is actually present in the form of a ring-like structure. These are the 2 cerebral ganglia, which is situated above the pharyngeal region. This is the pharynx. The next we'll see the nervous system in the annelids, that is in the earthworms. Now, earthworms actually, you all know actually the annelids are segmented animals. So every system that is present in the right from in the earthworms, that is in the annelida, it is what? Segmented. So that means it has to pass each and every segment. So likewise, excretory system is segmented, digestive system is segmented, and almost all the systems are segmented. So also the nervous system is segmented in case of the annelida, because it is a segmented animal. So nervous system here also, it is a segmented, because you all know, if you take, for example, earthworm has about 33 segments, they say. So in each segment, actually, the system is being present. It may be starting from 8 or 9 segment, but in each segment, it has got the, segmentation is there, and in each segment, the systems are present. So when we talk with reference to the nervous system, even the nervous system actually is also segmented in case of annelida. Now here, in case of annelida, you have a pair of cerebral ganglia, which are situated above in front of the pharynx. Okay, so in case of annelida, you have a pair of cerebral ganglia. Since they are present above the pharynx as well as in front of the pharynx, they are called as suprapharyngeal ganglia. They are called as suprapharyngeal ganglia. Apart from the suprapharyngeal ganglia, you also have 2 lateral nerves, okay, which arise from a ring around the pharynx, form a ring around the pharynx connecting the ganglia. So these are called as the circum or pharyngeal connectives. Circum or pharyngeal connectives. So in case of annelida, what is there? Actually, in the annelida, you have a pair of cerebral ganglia called as suprapharyngeal ganglia, which are situated above as well as in front of the pharynx. Now, from this suprapharyngeal ganglia or the cerebral ganglia, 2 lateral nerves arise and they form a ring around the pharynx connecting this cerebral ganglia. So apart from this, a pair of mid-ventrally placed nerves are also connected to this anterior nerve ring. So a pair of nerves are also connected. So 2 lateral nerves and also a pair of mid-ventrally placed nerves are also connected to this anterior nerve ring, which runs throughout the length of the body. These nerves actually possess a ganglion in each of the body segment from which the nerves are given out to the various organs. So that is how the nervous system is present in case of annelida. So in annelida, what is there? Like all other systems, even the nervous system is segmented, as the annelids are the segmented animals. It consists of a pair of cerebral ganglia called as the suprapharyngeal ganglia, which is situated above and in front of the pharynx. Now, surrounding this cerebral ganglia, you have two lateral nerves, okay, which form a ring, and connect it to this cerebral ganglia. Now, a pair of mid-ventrally placed nerves also are connected to this nerve ring, which runs throughout the length of the body. And these nerves which run throughout the length of the body, they possess a ganglia in each of the body segment, okay, from which the nerves are given off to the various organs. Now, most annelids actually also possess giant axons. Giant axons means they possess a bigger type of axons. Now, some annelids also have the ocelli or the simple cell eyes. Now, the annelids have well-developed sensory receptors. So, apart from the platyhelminthes, as we have seen, and the cnidarians, now they also possess the sensory organs, no doubt, but there it is very, very simple. But since the annelids possess a well-developed sensory nervous system, they also possess the sensory receptors. They say the polychaetes, you all actually annelida is divided into polychaeta, oligochaeta, and all those things. So polychaete animals, they have a variety of tactile receptors, photoreceptors. Tactile means touch receptors. Photo is with reference to light, and chemoreceptors, which are distributed throughout the body surface. And some of the most burrowing and tube-dwelling forms also have the statocyst. You all know statocysts actually are the balancing organs, and they also possess the georeceptors, which has to do something with the Earth's gravity. So georeceptors that enable them to orient themselves in the substrate. Because you all know actually these annelids, most of these annelids, they are burrowing animals. They are actually the what do you call tube-dwelling animals. Tube-dwelling animals. That means they live in sand and mud and all those things. So that is why, see, these type of receptors are very, very essential for them, which will help them to orient themselves in the substrate so that they can easily, move into the substratum, and then they can be able to recognize what is actually happening surrounding them. So this is actually the simple the structure of the nervous system in case of the annelida. Now here they have given the nervous system of the annelid earthworm. If you see the earthworm, now see here, this is the cerebral ganglia. Now circumesophageal connectives are there. This is the gut region, you all know, subesophageal ganglion, and it has got a ventral nerve cord. So this is how actually the nervous system of the annelid has been evolved. Okay. Now, next is after annelida, you have mollusca. Now, in case of mollusca, now mollusca shows great range of nervous system. So there is a great diversity of nervous system. As I told you, as you go from the lower organisms to the higher organisms, there is a lot of diversity, okay, in the organ systems. So that means it is going on developing. So till the last. So as you go on, definitely you find a great range of the systems. So here mollusca also shows a great range of nervous system when compared to that other phyla. Now here the typical nervous system of mollusks actually consists of three pairs of ganglia connected with one another by bundles of nerve fibers, and are distributed in a characteristically scattered manner. So we can say that the nervous system of mollusca consists of three pairs of ganglia. They consist of three pairs of ganglia which are connected with another by bundles of the nerve fibers. Now, one pair of ganglia lies above the esophagus and hence called supraesophageal or cerebral ganglia. Another pair of ganglia which lies below the esophagus and is called as infraesophageal or pedal ganglia. Then the third pair is called as a branchial ganglia or peritosplagmatic ganglia. So like this, you have three pairs of ganglia which are present in a mollusca. So they are connected with each other by means of a number of bundles of nerve fibers, you can say. So one pair lies above the esophagus, called as supraesophageal or cerebral. Another pair lies below the esophagus, called as infraesophageal or the pedal. And the other pair is called as branchial or peritosplagmatic ganglion. Now, in higher mollusk, if you go to higher mollusk, the cerebral and the pedal ganglia, they say they are fused, forming a esophageal ring. So that means the both the ganglia which are present above and one below, both of them actually are being fused and they form a esophageal ring. Okay. Now, several ganglia are also present that are connected with the long nerves. So this is how the nervous system of the mollusca is. Now, if you see, so in mollusk, see, These are the nerve cords they have given. The nerve cords are here. So you see only the nerve cords which are being present over here. The rest of the things are, you have intestine, gonad, all those things. So the nervous system is being present. So you have to just locate, because see, this is the mouth. So following the mouth, you have what? The pharynx as well as the esophagus. So just above the esophagus and all those six, one below and one above. So here you find this nerve cords. The ganglion will be there, and these ganglia actually are located, have got these ganglia are present within the nerve cords. So this is the nerve cords that they have shown over here. So this is about the mollusca. Yes, students. Hello.
Ah,
Yes,
madam.
ma'am. Yes.
Oh, okay. Now next is what? Arthropoda. Now coming to the arthropoda. Now here it is similar to the annelid nervous system, but it is more advanced in structure, they say. And here the central nervous system is being present. Now till now, see, we have seen actually, if you talk about the vertebrates and all those things, in the vertebrates you have a highly complex nervous system, where you say the nervous system is divided into three regions. Like you have what is that? Central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, and all those things. Okay, but here in arthropod, they say that actually it is similar to, but here central nervous system is being present. How many types of nervous system you find? Three types of nervous system you have. Yes or no? So here from the arthropod onwards, the central nervous system is being present. So this consists of what? The supraesophageal or cerebral ganglia, which is located in the head segment, and this serves as a brain. And most arthropods, they show well-developed sensory organs such as the compound eyes and the antennae. Compound eyes contain ommatidia that samples a small part of the visual field. Okay. Now coming to arthropod, here what they're saying, when you compare the arthropods with that of annelids, now here the annelid nervous system is somewhat advanced, because here you find a central nervous system. Why they're calling it central nervous system here is actually the supraesophageal or the cerebral ganglia, which is located or which is present in the head region. It functions as a brain. It functions as a brain. So constituting a central nervous system. So that is what it is saying. So supraesophageal or the cerebral ganglia is located in the head segment, which serves as a brain. And several other arthropods also show, apart from these nervous system, they show well-developed sensory organs such as the compound eyes. You all know compound eyes are called as ommatidia, whereas simple eyes are called as ocelli. So the compound eyes are called as the ommatidia. Apart from this ommatidia, this ommatidia, you also have the antennae, which are actually sensory in nature. This is in case of arthropods. Now see here, this is the brain. Okay, this is the ventral nerve cord you have, and these are the segmental ganglia. Like this. How they are actually, this nerve cord, from the nerve cord, the number of nerves originate, and each nerves actually go to the different tissue or the different organ systems. So this is how the annelid arthropod nervous system is. Here also they have given arthropod central nervous system. See here, this is the supraesophageal zone, okay, which acts as a brain. So here you have that this is the subesophageal zone. Below that, then you have the thoracic ganglia, then you have the abdominal ganglia, like this. So it is about an insect, central nervous system. This is a representation how it is. Okay. Yes, students, is it okay? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Clear,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. Here they have also shown the brain of locust. Again, same way.
Yes, madam.
Okay, okay. One second. Okay.
Ma'am, it's going back, ma'am.
Yeah,
Again,
I'm only doing. I am only doing, wait.
Okay.
Now, coming to the sensory systems, you all know actually the invertebrate sensory receptors. Apart from this, because as the nervous system is being evolved and it is highly complex, they also possess the number of sensory receptors or the sensory organs. Now, these sensory receptors include the baroreceptors, chemoreceptors, georeceptors, thermoreceptors, phonoreceptors, photoreceptors, then proprioceptors, tactile receptors, as well as the hygroreceptors. Now we'll see what are all these things. Now, when we talk about the baroreceptors, now baroreceptors actually they have not identified any specific baroreceptor in invertebrate. They're saying, but still, they say that actually some responses to the pressure changes. Baro means something has to do with the pressure changes. So the organisms which are present in the ocean, that is ocean dwelling copepod crustaceans, they say ctenophores as well as the jellyfishes, medusae as well as the states, they respond to the pressure changes. So that means they have recognized, they have not identified any specific baroreceptor, but they say that they have identified these pressure changes. Because of the pressure changes, now the ocean dwelling arthropods, especially the copepod crustaceans, ctenophores as well as the jellyfishes, medusae as well as squids, they respond to the pressure changes. So that is how they call it as a baroreceptor. That means they say that there must be something, some receptors might be present in such animals which actually, what do you say, the respond to the pressure changes. So that is what they have identified, and they have not named it, but they say that some receptors might be present in such animals which respond to the pressure changes, and hence they call it as nothing but the baroreceptors. But as such, they have not identified it. It's only an, what do you say, the assumption. Okay. The next is what? Chemoreceptors. Now, chemoreceptors are what? They respond to the chemicals. Now, you all know actually this is the oldest, what do you say, and the most universal cells in the animal kingdom. Now, chemoreceptors from the protozoans, every organism, they respond to the, what do you say, the chemicals. Like you have protozoa, they avoid the strong acids, alkali, and the salt. Then specific chemicals attract the predatory ciliates to attract the prey. Then chemoreceptors of many aquatic invertebrates are also located in the pits or depressions. So in arthropods, the chemoreceptors are called as sensilla. They are usually present on the antennae, mouth parts, as well as on the legs. Invertebrates with the specific chemoreceptors, what do? They can detect the humidity, they can detect the pH, they can detect, they can also track their prey and also recognize the food and also locate their mate. So, for example, male silkworm, that is Bombyx can detect the what do you say, the molecule, that is bombicol molecule, that is nothing but a chemical. So chemoreceptors are nothing but the receptors which respond to the chemicals. So right from the protozoans to the arthropods, they possess the chemicals, they possess the receptors which can respond to the varied chemicals. So these animals, when they come, what do you say, the come across the different chemicals, they respond accordingly. So this is about the chemoreceptors. The next you have what? The georeceptors. Now, georeceptors are what? Nothing but we respond to the force of gravity, enabling the animal to perceive its orientation relative to up and down. Now, especially the what do you say, the bottom dwellers, you can say, or the the burrowing animals or the tube dwelling animals. What do? They will not be present, especially the annelids and all those things. They will not be present on the earth. So they will be actually going deep into the mud. So that such animals we call it as a burrowing animals. So for them, the presence of georeceptors is very, very essential. Like these most georeceptors actually possess what? Statocysts. Just now we have mentioned. So the most of the georeceptors actually are nothing but the statocysts. So an invertebrate statocyst actually consists of what? A fluid-filled chamber which bears the which have a cilia bearing the sensory epithelium. So within this chamber, you have a solid granule which is called as the statolith, and any movement of the animal's body changes the position of the statolith, and it moves the fluid which alters the sensory epithelium. So statocysts are found in gastropods, they are found in cephalopods, they are found in crustaceans, nematines, polychaetes, as well as in the scyphozoans. So in addition to the statocysts, a number of aquatic insects also can detect the gravity from air bubbles which are present in the tracheal tube. So these air bubbles also help them to move orient with the change in the gravity and also stimulate the sensory blisters. So what are georeceptors? Now the georeceptors actually that are found in these lower animals are nothing but they are called as, there are two types. One is called as the statosis they have identified, and the other one they have identified the number of air bubbles. The number of air bubbles. So these air bubbles which are present in the aquatic insects. So what is that for statosis? I think you might have also seen in the prawn and all those things. Now you go for statosis dissection. So statosis actually are nothing but they help in the balancing. So it is called as a balancing organ. So this statosis actually are very, very important. It functions as a georeceptor. So any movement of the animal's body, it will change the position of the statolith because this statosis has a fluid-filled chamber, which is lined with the cilia bearing sensory epithelium. Within this chamber, you have a solid granule, which is called as nothing but the statolith. They are in the form of nothing but they are actually an aggregation of the sand grains. So they are called as the statolith. So any movement of the animal's body will change the position of the statolith and it will move the fluid, which alter the sensory epithelium. So based on this, the animal can know. So these georeceptors. So it is based on nothing but the gravity. Now the statosis you find it in the gastropods, cephalopods, crustaceans, nematines, polychaetes, as well as the scyphozoans. So in addition to the statosis, you also find a number of air bubbles in the aquatic insects, which are present in the. Yeah, tell me.
Even these can detect the, tsunamis and like that also, ma'am.
Yeah,
in
because
the
actually it has something to do because they're especially in the burrowing animals. This is okay in the burrowing animals and also in the aquatic animals also, aquatic species also. Okay, basically it is a balancing organ. Apart from that, it also helps in detecting any change in the gravity. Okay. So apart from this, aquatic insects also have the air bubbles, which are present in the tracheal tubes. So these air bubbles also, they can move according to their orientation to gravity. Means help them to move according to the orientation to gravity. So main function of the georeceptors is what? Nothing but to make the animal to move based on the gravitational force or the gravitational pull. That is what is called as georeceptors. Is it okay? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Yes.
See, only thing is it helps in the orientation. Basic function of the georeceptors is what? Nothing but suppose if any, to defend themselves. If they come across any object or if they come across any enemy or any say for example. So these georeceptors will try to help the animal in case of the defense mechanism, like defending it. So that is what we call the georeceptors. Now next is what? Thermoreceptors. Now thermoreceptors, you all know it is respond to the temperature changes. Now specific structures have not been identified for this, but still they say that somewhat a heat sensing mechanism is being present. In these receptors, for example, in leeches and ticks, which draws the leeches and the ticks to warm-blooded host. So like paramecium, for example, collects in areas where water temperature is very, very moderate and avoid temperature extremes. Insects, some crustaceans and horse crab, that is limulus, can also sense the thermal variations. Now here, thermoreceptors actually respond only to the temperature changes. So if there is a change in a temperature, okay, so to avoid that variation, these animals try to change their habitat. Say for example, like here, what they are saying in case of these leeches and in case of the ticks, now a heat sensing mechanism is there. So this actually will help them to draw the leeches to warm-blooded host. So they will not actually go into the cold-blooded host, but they will try to move into the warm-blooded host. So likewise, even paramecium is there. So paramecium actually is not found in the cold areas. So it is found in the areas where the water temperature is very, very moderate. So it will try to avoid the high temperatures. So wherever the water level is present and it is having high temperature, there you cannot find the paramecium. So paramecium tries to avoid that high temperature and it tries to actually move towards the temperature where towards the water where the temperature is moderate enough. Okay, so likewise, like insects, some crustaceans and limulus, they can sense these thermal changes and they try to move from one place to another place. So that is the main function of the thermoreceptors. Then you have phonoreceptors. Now phonoreceptors again demonstrated only in the insects. Okay, and there is phono means something has to do with the sound. Okay, photo is light, but phono is sound. So here phonoreceptors actually have been seen in the insects, arachnids, and some centipedes like crickets, grasshoppers. Then you have cicadas. They possess phonoreceptors, which are called as tympanic or the tympanal organs. Okay, they are called as tympanic or the tympanal organs. And most of these animals possess these phonoreceptors called as the slit sense organs in the cuticle. So centipedes also have this, but they are poorly developed. So the phonoreceptors means some of these insects, especially the arachnids, centipedes, grasshoppers, crickets, they have actually the the receptors which has something to do. So they can detect the sound very easily with the help of these phonoreceptors. And so when once the sound comes or anything like that, then with the help of these phonoreceptors, they try to detect that sound and they try to avoid the circumstances. So this is about the phonoreceptors. The next you have photoreceptors. Now photoreceptors are sensitive to light. Almost all the photoreceptors, they consist photosensitive sensitive pigments such as carotenoids, rhodopsin. Now photoreceptors something to do with the light means here with reference to eyes. Now eyes are almost present in each and every the organism that we see. So all the photoreceptors, they possess the photosensitive pigments in the form of carotenoids, rhodopsin, which can absorb the photons of light and produce a generator potential. And among the the invertebrates, 4 kinds of photoreceptors have been identified. They are the stigma, ocelli. Ocelli are nothing but the simple eyes. And you have compound eyes, which are called as the ommatidia. Apart from them, they also have the complex camera eyes. See, okay, they have the complex camera eyes. So 4 types of photoreceptors you observe in case of invertebrates. Okay. Now, coming to stigma. Stigma is a mass of bright, red photoreceptor granules with nothing but the carotenoid granules or carotenoid pigments, and they are present actually in the euglena, okay, which is present in the euglena. Then the actual photoreceptor actually is the swelling at the base of the flagellum. So this carotenoid, the pigments you observe at the base of the flagellum in case of the euglena. So this actually what it will try to do, it will try to, since it is a light sensitive receptors, so this pigment actually help in the absorption of the light. It help in the absorption of the light. It helps to help them and try to sense the light. So that is what is called as nothing but a stigma. So stigma is nothing but a mass of red photoreceptor granules called as the carotenoid granules or the carotenoid pigments, which are seen in the euglena. So it is perhaps, it works as a shield. Okay, it works as a shield, and this is actually present. It is nothing but swelling at the base of the flagellum, or you can say it is present at the base of the flagellum, and it is in the form of a small cup lined with sensitive receptors. Okay, and this also has got sensitive cells, which are called as the retinular cells. They contain the photoreceptor pigment, and which are receiving the stimulus, they will produce what the potential leading to the action potential. So the animal only gets information about the light, but the image is not formed. Okay, so with the help of the stigma, it can only get the sensation or the information regarding that light, but it cannot form the image. So this is about the stigma. Then next you have ocelli. Ocelli are the simple eyes. They are commonly found in the phyla Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca. Okay, and they have simple unicellular photoreceptor cells which are scattered over the epidermis. The next is what? Compound eyes. Now the compound eyes are called as the ommatidia. They also occur in some annelids and bivalve mollusks, and they are the best developed in the arthropods. Okay, and each eye consists of few to many distinct units called as the ommatidia. So compound eyes actually bear the ommatidia, or you can also call as the ommatidium. So each eye consists of each unit. Here you call it as nothing but the ommatidia, and they are oriented. Each ommatidia actually is oriented in a slightly different direction from the others due to the here. And you see here you find an image. So not only the we can say the arthropods with the help of these compound eyes can detect the the vision or the light, but at the same time it also forms the image. So this is a characteristic feature of the arthropods, where you can observe the formation of an image. Okay, so the color images is actually observed here. So here this ommatidia, compound eye, with the help of the compound eye only, you can find the image. So each eye, they say, consists of a number of units which are called as ommatidia, and each one actually is oriented in a slightly different direction from the others. And the visual field of the eye is very, very wide. They are very, very effective, compound eyes, in detecting the movements and also forming the image. Just now I've told you, they not only detect the movements, but also help in the formation of the image and also can detect the color. Color vision is also important in active day flying nectar feeding insects such as honeybee. So this is all about the compound eyes or the ommatidia. Now coming to the complex camera eyes, which are present in the squids and octopus. You might have seen that octopus as well as the squids. There you find complex camera eyes are there. They are the best image forming eyes among the invertebrates and the largest among the animals, exceeding about 38 centimeter in diameter in giant squid. So that is how. So these are the, what do you say, the different types of photoreceptors that you observe in the what do you say, the invertebrates. What are those? One is called as the stigma, which is actually present in the euglena. Then you find then you have ocelli, that is the simple eyes. You have the compound eyes, and then you have the complex camera eyes. So remember, the stigma and the ocelli, though they can detect the what do you say, the light and help in the movement, but they cannot form the image. Whereas the compound eyes and the camera eyes actually help in the, they are highly complex and they help in the formation of the image. So this is about the photoreceptors. The next you have, this is proprioreceptors. Now proprioreceptors are commonly called as what? Stretch receptors. And they are internal sense organs that respond to mechanically induced changes which are caused by stretching or compression. So proprioreceptors have something to do with the internal sense organs. So what happens is when the body stretches, like you can say stretch receptors, so they are internal sense organs that respond to mechanically induced changes caused by stretching, as well as compression, bending, or the tension. So when the animal stretches or when the animal, so we can say in one way, the proprioreceptors actually helps the animal, okay, animal in stretching, compressing the body, bending, or in the tension. So proprioreceptors actually have been studied in more detail in arthropods, where they are associated with appendage joints and body extensor muscles. So actually in arthropods, if you see, they have got appendages. So when they have got appendages, definitely the joints are there. So they need to stretch. The body need to stretch. Stretch for any type of activity. So in such cases, the proprioreceptors are very, very essential. So these proprioreceptors actually help them in the stretching the body, in bending the body, and also in the compression. So this is about the proprioreceptors you find exclusively, especially in case of the arthropods. Now next is what? Tactile receptors. Now tactile receptors have something to do with the touch. They are touch receptors which are derived from the epithelial cells associated with sensory neurons. Now in the tactile receptors, you find it in bristles, spines, setae, tubercles. Okay. So examples include, tactile receptors are in the form of bristles, in the form of spines, in the form of setae, in the form of tubercles. So for example, you have spiders. They have tactile receptors that can sense vibrations of the web threads when they are entangled, when an entangled prey tries to escape from the web. So that is how. So the tactile receptors actually are the touch receptors. And examples for tactile receptors are, in the form of, you can say tactile receptors are present in the form of bristles, in the form of spines, in the form of setae, and in the form of tubercles. Now, best example you can give as the spiders, which forms the web. They have the tactile receptors, and because of these tactile receptors, this web can sense the vibrations of the web threads when any prey tries to, escape from the web. So this is about the tactile receptors. See here. This is the olfactory system in insects. Olfactory receptor neurons. So this is about the chemoreceptor of invertebrates. Just now we have mentioned. And this is about the photoreceptors inside. This is about the photoreceptors. So this is what you say with reference to the nervous system. Next, you have you don't have the reproductive system, so we will not go to that. So these are the different types of what you say the receptors that you find. See, I think mollusca, after mollusca, we have not talked about echinoderms. That's what I was just thinking. So in echinoderms, the nervous system is here. See, actually, before going to the sensory, what do you say, the organs, we should have talked about this. That's what I was thinking where I have missed. So echinoderms actually, so after the, what do you say, the protozoans, then sponges, then we had this platyhelminthes, nemathelminthes, okay, annelids, uh, then arthropods we have talked about, mollusks, and then we have echinoderms. Now the echinoderms show the ganglia along the radial nerves. So here also you have a complex type of nervous system is there. They include the cell bodies of almost all the motor neurons and the intermediate neurons. So here you have a central nerve ring which surrounds the gut connecting the radial nerves. And some of them also show the ocelli to sense the light. And the sensory neurons will lie within the ectoderm and send the axons to the radial nerves. So this is actually the, you can say the nervous system of the echinodermata. So this is actually the nerve ring. So here also the echinoderms possess the nervous system in the form of a, what do you say, the nerve ring. So which is actually located in the center. And since it has got 5 arms, you all know actually the echinoderm, especially the sea star and all those things, they have got 5 arms. So in each arm, actually, the nerve has to be passed. So the central nerve ring actually will surround the gut. It is actually surrounds the gut and it is present in the center and it connects the 5 radial nerves which go to each arm. So apart from this, it also shows the ocelli to sense the light. Ocelli are nothing but the simple eyes, and the sensory neurons are also present, which are actually located within the ectoderm, and it sends the axons to the radial nerves. So this is the simple, what do you say, the structure of the nervous system with reference to the echinodermata. Yes, any doubt you have regarding this?
No, ma'am.
Yes,
Clear,
yes.
ma'am. Clear,
Is it
ma'am.
clear? Okay.
Clear, ma'am.
So this, yeah, this is all about the diversity of the organ systems with reference to invertebrates. Okay. Now, when you talk about the circulatory system, excretory system, and nervous system, now in case of circulatory system, you have to deal in detail with the what do you say, the open type of circulatory system as well as the closed type of circulatory system. Then excretory system, you have to talk in detail about the different types of excretory organs. So yesterday we have talked only about the malpighian tubules as well as referida. Now apart from that, you also have a lot of what do you say, in each phyla if you go, you have a different types of what do you say, the excretory organs are there that you have to mention. So students, when I will be sending, I will send you in detail about all those things. Okay. So because when I referred your book, in that in Annelida, they have mentioned not only the nephridia, apart from nephridia, they have mentioned coelomoducts are there. Then what is it? The nephromixa is there. Chlorogorgon cells are there. Then you have botryral tissue is there. Ciliated organs, coxal glands. I mean, see, you have wide variety of organisms are present in each phyla. So if you take each organism into consideration, there the what do you say, the type of excretory organ will differ definitely. But we have talked in general about the major organs with reference to not only the excretory system but also with the circulatory as well as with the nervous system. So that is how you have to mention, especially with reference to excretory system. Why I'm talking about is they have mentioned a lot of what do you say, the organs that are being present in the different phyla. In annelids, they have mentioned, that's not I have talked about. Okay, apart from the ciliated organs, you have coxal glands, hepatopancreas is there. You all know hepatopancreas is present in the, especially in the arthropods, in the crustaceans. Okay, so even it also serves to some extent as an excretory in nature. Then you also have the nephrocytes are there, green glands are there. Okay, then when you talk about the echinoderms, you have ectodermal glands are there. Okay, And then you have even integument, that is the skin sometimes also functions as an excretory organ. Even midgut epithelium, hindgut epithelium also serves as an excretory organ. Intestinal CK is also there. Okay, fat body cells also. Then you have organs of Bojanus, Krebs organs, they say, okay, and axial glands. So these are some of the excretory organs they have mentioned in each, the different organisms. Okay, so don't get confused. What we have discussed is about a general view about the different types. Okay, so with reference to excretory system, I'll give you in detail. So if you have any doubt, we can.
Ma'am, hello. Ma'am,
Yeah,
actually for exams, Kishore sir has given the old question papers, no, ma'am. In that, we
yeah.
are not finding the exact answer from the textbook. So can we find it from the website, different websites, and make a notes and we can present in the exam? Or else, is there any important questions further in the
Which one?
textbook?
Which one you are not finding?
Many of the questions are not there in, I mean, in the textbook. They are not properly, I mean,
Okay.
the starting is somewhere and it is jumbled in that book. So
Okay.
in what way we can prepare?
Yeah, you can search from Google. No, so many websites are there. You can search in Google. You will get a lot of information. Okay, but
Is
you do.
those answers are best for writing in exam or else?
That's what I'm telling you. You can, what you do is you keep your book in front of you. Apart from that, if you're not able to understand or anything, whatever we are dealing, we will give you those material. Okay, that
Okay.
material and your book material, and still also you are not able to understand it. What you can do is you can search. You can give some keywords and then try to find out about that particular aspect and try to incorporate in your answer.
One more thing, ma'am.
Like,
Only
did you
those
understand? No,
model
just now.
papers,
Which one?
మ్యామ్ అది సార్ పంపించిన క్వశ్చన్ పేపర్స్ ఉన్నాయి కదా మ్యామ్, అదొక్కటి
Yeah.
చదువుకుంటే సరిపోతుందా లేకపోతే టెక్స్ట్ బుక్ లో ఉన్న లాస్ట్ పేజ్ లో ఉన్న క్వశ్చన్స్ కూడా చదవాలా?
See, sir, what he has given, I think those are previous year question
ప్రీవియస్
papers.
క్వశ్చన్, యా ఎస్ సార్, ఎస్ మ్యామ్.
Those are previous year question papers. You concentrate on that also. And at the same time, at the end of every chapter, you have got questions are there. Okay. So go through that questions also. It might have
ఓకే.
been repeated. I don't know. I have not seen, but still I'm telling you. Okay. So you can refer both. So to be on safe side, go through the previous year's question papers, and at the same time, whatever the questions that are being given at the end of each chapter, you try to follow that. Okay.
ఎస్ మ్యామ్.
So it would be better. You will be on safe side. And regarding the information and all those things, if you're not able to understand, I told you, no, we will giving you the material. The material will be there. Your book material will be there. At the same time, if at all you are not able to understand that particular concept, you search in the Google, give that keyword, and then try to, put it in your answer.
మ్యామ్, సిన్స్ we are having very less time, so
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
if at all, I mean, ఆ మోడల్ పేపర్స్ ఒకటి చదువుకుంటే సరిపోతుందా అని అడుగుతున్నాను.
See, ma, I can't tell no model papers and all those things because we don't know exactly. So if we say and if it doesn't come, it would not be good now. So that is why better to, avoid all such
Refer.
things. Yeah, refer everything. To be on safe side, you have to refer everything. Learn each and every maximum up to 75% of the portion at least you need to cover. If not
రిపీటెడ్
100%.
క్వశ్చన్స్ ఏమైనా ఉంటే ఇంపార్టెంట్ కొంచెం సెండ్ చేస్తారా మేడం?
Yeah, but I don't have any idea, ma. Okay.
ఓకే మ్యామ్.
Okay, so we will just go through once more regarding this. In the next class, I will talk about the vertebrates. So you have a lot to do in vertebrate organ systems also. There also a lot of diversity is there. About 5 systems are there with reference to integument, circulatory, I think, nervous and all those things. Okay, now you got an idea now. So just now we will just try to brush it and then we'll end the class. Okay. Okay. So here, so since yesterday we are talking about all these fields, so just we'll repeat once more. Now you have diversity of organ systems of invertebrates with reference to circulatory, excretory, and nervous system. So here they have given the diversity of organization, especially with reference to circulatory system and all. So here we have already talked. So the circulatory system, you all know, it varies from simple systems to invertebrates with complex systems. So in porifera, so what you try to do is in porifera, how it is. See, right from the beginning, see, they actually try to neglect the the protozoans, because they are single-celled animals, and whatever the process, metabolic activity that they perform, it is through simple diffusion. So through the general body surface, it will take. And apart from that, they also have the contractile vacuoles. So to some extent, contractile vacuoles also help in case of the excretion. So likewise, you need to go to each and every phyla, if not specific animals, at least that particular the phyla you need to take, and you need to mention, okay, how the the systems are being present in each one. So if you talk with reference to circulatory system, first you have to talk about the protozoa. In protozoa, it is very, very simple. Okay. So here you don't find any well-developed circulatory system. So that is the reason why whatever the circulatory system occurs in this particular organisms, it occurs through the general body surface by the process of diffusion. Next is what your sponges, that is poriferans, as well as rotifers. Here also they don't have, they don't need any circulatory system. They are saying, but what happens is, though here also the circulatory system occurs through the process of diffusion, but they are not able to take in the adequate amount or adequate exchange of the water, nutrients, as waste, as well as the dissolved gases is not possible because of the diffusion mechanism. So that is the reason why. Why? Because these organisms actually have two layers of the cells in their body. Okay, such as jellies, cnidaria. I'm talking about the cnidaria, that is the coelenterics. So in that case, what they are saying is, both the external and the internal tissues have to be completely bad in the aqueous environment and exchange the fluids by diffusion on both the sides. So on both the sides, they need to go. There, only one layer of cells is there. So that is the reason why the diffusion is very, very simple. But in here, what you have to do, though it occurs by by diffusion only, but since they possess two layers of the cells in their body plan, so what they need to do, they have to actually undergo the process of exchange of either the fluid or the nutrients or the waste, whatever it may be, on both the sides. Okay. So this is actually not only by through the process of diffusion. So the the pulsing of the body also will help in the process of circulation. So that is what they say. Next is what we have talked about, the complex organisms, like diffusion is not sufficient, already we have talked about. So here from the the arthropods, therefore more complex circulatory systems actually have evolved from the arthropods. So most of the arthropods and many mollusks, they have open circulatory system, and as you go higher, then they have the closed circulatory system. So in the open circulatory system, I told you that in the open circulatory system, blood vessels are not present, and since the blood vessels are not, blood vessels mostly are not present, and here the blood flows, okay, directly into the body cavity, and they directly goes to the body tissues wherever it is required. But in case of closed circulatory system, what happens is, you have actually the well-developed blood vessels are there in the form of arteries, veins, and capillaries. So the blood flows in the arteries. They are in the closed. They are tightly packed in these blood vessels. Okay, and the blood will be circulated through the heart. So the heart, from the heart, the blood will be pumped through the arteries to various parts of the body, and the veins collect. So there is no direct access, okay, to the body cavity or to any of the organs. So that is how actually the closed system will work. So examples already I have given you: open circulatory system as well as your closed circulatory system. So this is the closed circulatory system. Okay, so where you have got the main blood vessels are there. In case of the open circulatory system, you don't find. So you have the actually openings are there in the heart. That heart is called as that opening we call it as nothing but the ostia. So this is how the open system as well as the closed system, circulatory system. Open system already I have told you. Okay, we have mentioned about the open circulatory system and where they are found. Okay, found. And the only thing is, here on open circulatory system, that it do not consist of the blood. It consists of but the hemolymph instead of the blood. and this hemolymph will perform the functions of the blood, lymph, as well as the intestinal fluid, and all the three together, put together. But in case of the higher organisms, where you have well-defined circulatory system, lymph will have its own function, blood will have its own function, intestinal fluid will have its own function. They have separate functions. But in case of the open circulatory system, the hemolymph itself will serve all these three functions. Because they have a hemocoel, the cavity we call it as the hemocoel, and the fluid that is present, that is the blood. In the form of blood, you have got a hemolymph. Okay, and here you don't find any arteries as well as the veins. So the open system. But apart from that, in this hemocoel, they say actually they have certain what do you say, the cells are being present. The immune cells are there, which actually are in the form of green pigments, which carry the oxygen. And apart from that, they also contain certain immune cells, which help in the functioning of the circulation. But no, they don't have the arteries, they don't have the veins, they don't have the capillaries. Okay, so that is a difference. Whereas the functions you all know already, we have seen these are the different functions of the open circulatory system. So all the functions of the lymph, of the blood, as well as of the intestinal fluid is being done by the hemolymph itself. And it transports the oxygen, you all know, transports the nutrients, it transports the waste products, it transports all the messages, and it also transports the immune cells, which help in the fighting mechanism. So this is about the open circulatory system. Then we have talked about the closed circulatory system, where you have in the closed circulatory system, the blood will be present within the blood vessels itself. Okay, and the blood actually will pump, the heart pumps the blood with great pressure. There, the heart will not pump the blood, though it pumps the blood, but it is with less pressure. But here you have high pressure, because since it is closely packed, it moves with a high pressure, and it has a continuous circulation pattern will be there. You find it in the closed circulatory system. And here you have a closer, you have intact blood vessels. That is the only difference. And here you have got the RBCs, and you all know, and the blood is being present. So that is why, because of the hemoglobin, blood is red in color. So that is the difference between open closed circulatory system and closed circulatory system. And you need to mention the the animals in which you find the open circulatory system, and the animals in which you find the closed circulatory system. Now, functions of the closed circulatory system, already we have mentioned this. Okay. Now, this is the open circulatory system, and this is the closed circulatory system. Then respiratory system you don't have. Excretory system. Now, overview of excretory system, I have told you. Now, in this case, in excretory system, various excretory organs are present. Now, from simple organisms to the higher organisms. Now, with reference to protozoans, you all know, to the, it takes place through the general body surface. Apart from that, even contractile vacuole also helps in the excretion mechanism. Then, we have talked about the different excretory organs. Now, in case of annelid, if you take, they have got nephridia. This nephridia may be protonephridia or metanephridia. You have malphizian tubules. Now, apart from that, they have also mentioned, but here I have mentioned only the major ones. But apart from that, the simple organisms which are present, annelid especially, as well as the arthropods, they possess different types of excretory organs also, in the form of chlorovasal cells, botryoidal tissue, ciliated organs. Okay, then they have in the form of coxal glands, hepatopancreas that you find in crustaceans, especially the nephrocytes, the nephromyxia, green glands they call. Okay, and then coelomocytes, coelomoducts, ectodermal glands, even sometimes even the gut epithelium, that is mid-gut epithelium or hindgut epithelium, also serves in the process of excretion, organs of Bojana's, axial glands, all those things. Okay, so these are some of the excretory organs you find in case of this animals, especially in case of the annelids as well as in the arthropods. So a lot number of excretory organs are there, but to mention a few, we have mentioned only about the nephridia as well as the malphizian tubules. Two types of nephridia we have mentioned, that is protonephridia as well as the metanephridia. Now, proto, you find it in the the flatworms, and they are blunt ended and they open Okay, actually, this protonephridia, they open in the form of flame cells. So the protonephridia, they're also called as the flame cells. So these are nothing but they are the tubes in the form of a tube. They branch throughout the body and ends in the form of, in the flame bulbs, or you can call it as the flame cells. Okay, and these flame cells, they possess a tuft of cilia that beat, and the beating of the cilia only will help or will force the fluid to pass through those what do you say, the protonephria, and then go to the exterior. So that is how the mechanism of excretion will take place. Okay, and they have an opening which opens outside, that is called as nothing but the nephridio pore. So this is how about the excretory pore or the nephridio pore. This is, so this is the excretory canal. So this is with reference to protonephridia. Then you have got the metanephridia. I told you most of the annelids possess the metanephridia, and each segment, you all know, consists of a pair of metanephridia, and they are also in the form of tubules only. Okay, and here nephrostome will collect the fluid from the coelom, and it will transport the epithelia, and lastly the urine will exit through the nephridium. That is, whatever the excrete or whatever the waste is there, it will be excreted out through the excretory opening, that is called as nothing but the nephridium. Then you have malphigian tubules. Now, in case of most of the insects as well as the terrestrial arthropods have got the malphigian tubules. And you all know arthropods, they have the hemolymph, I told you. So these malphigian tubules remove the waste from the blood, hemolymph that is, and they open in the digestive tract also, immersed in the hemolymph, and they transport the epithelial line tubules also. So in this epithelium or in these tubules, whatever the solutes that are being secreted, they will be collected into the tubules. Okay, I mean, in the tubules they will be secreted, and from there actually it will be absorbed by the rectum, and whatever the waste are there, that will be what do you say, precipitated out through with the help of the excretory pore. So this is about the malphigian tubules. Then see, I told you malphigian tubules empty into the alimentary canal. So it varies from these malphigian tubules varies in number as well as in also in the length. So it ranges from 4 to 200 depending upon the species, and their length and diameter also varies. And these malphigian tubules are very, very important. Why? Because they try to, what do you say, not only help in the process of excretion, but also they help in maintaining the osmotic balance. That is what is called as osmoregulation. So osmotic regulation is actually being taken over by means of the malphigian tubules with reference to the arthropods, especially in the insects. So they play a very crucial role, malphigian tubules, not only in the excretion process, but also in the osmoregulation. That means what it will try to do, it will try to maintain the osmotic balance, that is the potassium as well as the sodium balance, both in the extracellular fluid as well as the intracellular fluid. Extracellular fluid is the fluid which is present outside the body, that is outside the, animal, okay, in the environment, whereas intracellular fluid is a fluid which is present within the animal. So it tries to maintain the balance. So this actually occurs, is taken care of by the malphigian tubules. So it plays a very, very crucial role. So this also you need to know. Okay, see how it is being done, how about the malphigian tubule. Then we have talked about the nervous system as well as the different sensory systems. Now, nervous system actually.
అందరూ బిజీ ఉంటారు.
Okay, so the nervous system as well as the sensory organs. Okay, from the simple organisms to the high organisms, we have seen how actually it is originating from the simple one to the how it has evolved basically. So if you see the lower organisms, actually the cnidarian starts from the cnidaria, because protozoans don't have any what do you say, the nervous system, they say. So they have just a small what do you say, the eye spots are present which behave as the what do you say, the receptors. Okay, so both effector as well as the it will take up, it will function in case of the protozoans. But from the cnidarians, actually you have a, though it possesses a simple nerve net, but it has got some sort of nerve cells are being present. But in case of the protozoans, you don't find any nerve cells. So cnidarians have got a simple nerve net. Likewise, platforms have what do you say, well developed centralized ganglia present, which is located in the brain. And still further, if you go, arthropods and mollusks, they have the centralized brain and specialized sensory organs are being present. So we have seen all these things. So simplex nervous system in the form of nerve net, flatworms and roundworms. Actually, this nerve net, what do you say, they form small clumps of nervous tissue or the ganglia located in the head. And if you go to what is the mollusk as well as in the arthropods, then here the ganglia which are being present, they are organized into a well-defined brain. Okay, so this is about. Then protozoa, again same way. So protozoans don't have, that's why I told you they lack the nervous system. Only the single cell will function both as a receptor as well as an effector cell, and it contains only an eye spot, porifera. So likewise, all these protozoans, poriferans we have mentioned. Okay, from the next is Nidarians. Okay, that is the coelenterate. So in the coelenterate, they have a diffuse nerve net and they possess the sensory neurons, intermediate and motor neurons. Okay, the next. Platyhelminths. Now, platyhelminths actually actually the cephalization of the nervous system has evolved. So that means here to see an orderly arrangement of the central nervous system, though it is primitive, but an arrangement of nervous system is actually seen in case of the platyhelminths. But it is present in the form of a ladder. As I mentioned, two long nerves are connected to the cerebral ganglia. Okay, and apart from this, the smaller nerves are also connected to the nerve cord, and it also has an auricles, and it also contains the sensory receptors. Eye spots are also present. So this is with reference to platyhelminths. Then nematoda, that is nemathelminths. You have got the cerebral ganglia is present, which consists of a circular ring. Circular nerve ring is present, and it has got four nerves run along the length of the body. Okay, that one is dorsal, one is ventral, and the two are lateral. This is nemathelminths, that is nematoda. So as you go higher up, it is becoming highly complex. Then in case of annelida, annelids are the segmented bodies. So it has a pair of cerebral ganglia called suprafiusophageal. Then two lateral nerves, they form a ring around it, and a pair of ventrally placed nerves are also connected it, and that will run throughout the length of the body. So apart from this, they are saying that annelids also have well-developed sensory receptors. So we have seen what are the different types of sensory receptors, because sensory receptors are very essential for these annelids, because most of them actually are, most of them are what, almost all of them are the tube-dwelling animals. They are burrowing animals. They live in the sand or the mud. So that is the reason why they need to have the sensory receptors like photoreceptors, chemoreceptors, as well as the georeceptors. Yes, these receptors not only sensing the touch. Hello. Not only in sensing the what do you say, the touch, light, as well as the chemicals, but apart from that, also to help them to change their movement. That is what the georeceptors work is. So that is why they possess all these what do you say, sensory organs. Then mollusca we have seen, again it has got well developed, great range of nervous system is there. Okay, and one pair of ganglia above esophagus and below the esophagus, other pair of ganglia. So like that, you have three different pairs of ganglia are present. Okay, so this is with reference to the mollusca. Okay, then arthropods, similar to annelida only. They have, okay, central nervous system is present, supraesophageal, then compound eyes. Then echinoderms, we have seen here just now. Here in echinoderms, again they have the ganglia along the radial nerves. Now here, these echinoderms actually have the arms. So here you have a central nerve ring is present, which is present in the center, and it surrounds the gut. And this nerve ring actually will send the nerves to the different arms, that is 5 arms. So those are called as nothing but the radial nerves. And these radial nerves, from these radial nerves also a number of sensory neurons are also lie, and they send the axons to the different radial nerves. So this is about the echinoderms. Okay, so we have seen with reference to almost all the types of phyla. Okay, then we have also discussed about the different sensory systems or the sensory organs actually. So invertebrate sensory receptors are different types: baroreceptors, chemoreceptors, georeceptors, thermoreceptors, phono, photo, proprotactile as well as hygroreceptors. So we have seen what are all these different types of receptors and where they are found. Like baroreceptors, something has to do with what? The pressure changes. Chemoreceptors actually help them to respond to the chemicals. Then next is your georeceptors. It has to do something with the gravity. Okay. The next, thermoreceptors, temperature changes. Phono means your sound. Next, you have what? The photoreceptors, touch and light. These photoreceptors are actually help them to recognize the light. These photoreceptors are highly evolved. Basically, they say in the invertebrates, you find 4 different types of these photoreceptors because not only to catch the prey, but also to defend themselves from the enemies. Actually, light is very, very essential. So photoreceptors are very, very essential. And so they actually occur in 4 different forms. One is in the form of stigma, ocelli, compound eyes, as well as the complex camera eyes. So we have seen what is stigma, what is ocelli. Ocelli are nothing but the simple eyes. So stigma and ocelli, though they help them to detect the light, but they cannot form the image. But the compound eyes and the complex camera eyes, they help in the formation of the image. Then you have the proprioreceptors. Proprioreceptors actually, when the body wants to, especially in case of the jointed animals where you have appendage animals. So in such cases, definitely stretching of the body is very, very essential. So bending or stretching is very, very essential. In such cases, proprioreceptors actually help them in the stretching as well as in the bending mechanism. Then you have tactile. Tactile has something to do with the touch. Okay. So they actually are present in the form of bristles, spines, setae and tubercles, which are present all over the body. So whenever they sense, whenever it is being touched, the animal is being touched, then what do? They immediately react to it and they try to respond. Especially, the spiders, not only the spiders, but different organisms which have all these tactile receptors, they try to respond immediately to the touch if they are touched by any other organism.
Ma'am, similar to touch me not plant kind of.
Yeah. Touch me not thing. That we say, like you have touch me not plant is there, no? Like that. So immediately they will respond. Okay, so this is all about. So if you have any doubt, you can ask students. So with this, we have completed what? The diversity of organ systems in invertebrates. I don't know how the question will be asked, but if they ask with reference to excretory system or circulatory system or nervous system, you need to give in detail right from the lowest organism to the highest organism, the echinoderms, till the last echinoderms. So in each organism, giving few examples and with the help of diagrams, you try to prepare the answer like that. Okay? Is it okay?
Okay, ma'am. Clear, ma'am.
So I don't know how the questions are there based on this. I have not referred, but diversity of organ system. They may not give you all the systems together. They may ask you, explain the diversity of, the organ system, that is circulatory system in invertebrates, or explain the diversity of excretory system in invertebrates, or explain the diversity of nervous system in invertebrates. So mention about right from the lowest, from the protozoa till the echinoderms. Giving few examples at least and giving the pictures also, so that it will be, the answer will be complete. Okay.
Okay.
So anything more you want? If you want, is it okay? Did you understand?
Ma'am,
Yes,
last
ma'am,
week we are asked a PPT, PDF otherwise.
Yeah. I'm preparing that. I'm held up in some other work, so I'm not getting time actually. Basically,
But because any
everything I have
material
kept.
not
Everything
available
I have
in
kept.
market.
I have made one file. Everything I'm keeping it in one file. I will do
Okay.
ma'am,
Okay,
one,
ma'am.
one request, ma'am.
it. Tell me.
C3, C4, ma'am, just send like notes, ma'am. It is possible
C3,
to inform.
C3, C4, no one is taking. C4 madam
No,
is
ma'am.
taking.
No, 1 or 2 classes she took, ma'am.
Meenakshi ma'am is taking, I think, no?
And
C4.
last week also
Only-
not taken, ma'am, for C4
Okay,
class.
If it is
Okay.
possible to send notes, ma'am.
C4 is Meenakshi ma'am is taking C4 class, right?
Yeah,
Last
Meenakshi ma'am is taking C4. I think today it is not possible for her, I think she said.
Yeah, she
Yesterday
has
she
some
took,
duty.
yeah, yesterday she took, na?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, she will cover, no problem. Otherwise also I will try to tell her.
C3,
Okay.
ma'am.
So see, regarding C3, no, and today sir told me that somebody will take the class today. Nobody has taken.
No, ma'am.
In first class, nobody has taken the C3, ma'am.
Okay, okay. So I'll try to find out from sir, and then I'll let you know. Okay.
Okay.
Because
At
2 more
least
classes
notes,
are there.
ma'am. At,
Yeah.
at least notes, ma'am. C3.
Okay. Next
At least.
week we have only got 2 classes. Okay. We need
Okay.
to complete this. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
So
Okay.
if you have
Thank
any
you, ma'am.
doubt, you can ask. No problem.
Okay.
Okay, ma. It's time is up. Now we will try to leave.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
I'm trying
Okay.
to send PDF, ma'am, with answers,
Yeah.
important questions.
I will send. See, I'm on that work only. I will send definitely.
Okay, why? Because any materials are not available, ma'am, in market.
Yeah,
That's why.
yeah. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.